Okay, so it's just gone 8 AM, we're in the Port Isaac Harbour, and today we're doing the Cornwall Epic Triathlon, which we've made up, starting with the swim here. We're going to swim about 1,500 metres to a mile, we think it is, and then we'll have Transition 1 down in Portgavern, where we'll get changed into our bike kit, cycle all the way over to Perranporth, which is about 65 kilometres, and then Transition 2 will be at the top of the hill in Perranporth, and then we'll run down to the beach and do approximately 7-kilometre beach run to top off our Cornwall Epic Triathlon. So swim start is about to happen. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go. Wrecking the bike course for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be doing our epic triathlon in Cornwall, and Reese is just out sussing out the bike course. We're going to meet him in Perranporth, and we've just caught him up on the bike. So I asked Reese if he wanted tea, which is the normal procedure to get him out of bed. So I have to make him tea. To which he said no, don't want tea. Not doing the triathlon today, too tired. And here he is.
I stayed all week. Yeah.
Just in time. Swim starts in 15 minutes. The sea actually looked quite calm compared to some previous days, so I thought, you know what, it looks like it'll be a good morning for the swim. And swimming all the way up to the harbour wall, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then as soon as we were outside the harbour wall and into the worldwide sea, it was a lot choppier than it looked. You can probably see how much I was kind of getting thrown around, thrown everywhere. And I was like, right, you know what, just follow Paz, who's on the supboard. He'll know where we're going and don't worry about anything else that's going on, until I looked down and saw a pack of so many jellyfish that I screamed. And then they were gone, and then it was like the next big group, and I've never seen so many jellyfish in my life. There's so many jellyfish.
There's our gap, and then we're in.
But luckily managed to get round without getting stung, so that was a big plus. And once I was back into the bay in Portgavern, I could chill out a little bit because I knew that I was back into a bit calmer water and was actually going to make it through the whole swim. So yeah, it was a pretty scary experience, but I definitely was glad that I did it.
What can I say? We got past the harbour walls and then I lost Lucy. I was veering off to the left and she was swimming on the correct course to the right. And then I thought maybe Lucy had turned round because I hadn't seen her. So I started to panic a little bit and I swam back in the way I came and realised that actually I'd gone wrong and she'd carried on the correct course, and now I was miles behind. So I went back out and then just swam the whole thing by myself and basically myself.
Well, I don't know where Reese is, so I'm putting some beans and toast on. Might as well have a nice leisurely transition one. Where the hell have you been?
Yeah, I got a bit lost.
Oh, do you want some beans?
Yeah.
World's longest transition. We've neutralised time, so that doesn't even count, and we're ready to go for the bike leg, Port Isaac to Perranporth. The sun is out now, but we've heard that a big storm's coming in, so we've both packed our rain jackets. Hopefully it's going to stay away because it's lovely right now, but ready to go. How far have we got?
56k.
56 kilometres to Perranporth. We'll see you at Transition 2. Okay, this is start the bike leg straight up the hill. Let's go. So after our pretty leisurely T1, mine more leisurely than Reese's, we decided to set off on the bike together. It was a really nice start to the bike. We climbed out of Port Isaac and headed towards the Camel Trail. We had kept an eye on the weather the day before the race, and we did know that the weather was going to change, but it just seemed like the weather just turned and in came the clouds and the rain, and it was just miserable. Okay, Reese has just gapped me and it actually appears he's gone the wrong way and is performing a U-turn. Oh, here he is. What way? That way? That way? And pretty much by the time we'd got onto the Camel Trail, it was quite wet, it was dirty, there was mud flicking up. But it made it a bit more of an adventure, I think. And we went through Padstow, which was lovely, so we actually got to cycle out through there and then just follow the coast road, although we never really actually saw the sea. We went through lovely coastal villages which were on beaches, and it felt like we were just riding in the cloud, and then when you descended into the beach you still couldn't even really see the sea because it was just so grey and miserable. So a shame that we didn't get to see the nice views, but it was still a tough ride all the way to Perranporth.
So things went from bad to worse when I got on the bike. I promise I did enjoy this whole thing, but we'd looked at the weather forecast and it said light drizzle, and what I can only describe as a monsoon came in. Barely could see the van that was filming us in front, and it was cold, it was wet. I got a puncture, which is no surprise. And Lucy was deciding that because she was so far in front on the swim that she didn't need to do any work, so I was blocking the wind. The bike ride was 270 normalised power and 212 average power, and for that we got about 22.5 kilometres per hour. So it was just
brutal.
Yeah. The normalised power is so much higher than the average because you're going up a 30% gradient and then you're freewheeling down a very slippery, wet
Technical descent.
Yeah.
Took me down to where I've been lately. Yeah, her love can make a person hazy. Praying she won't break me down. Yeah. What are you doing to me now? You found a way to me somehow. Now you're all I ever dream about. Since I saw you, there's no easy way out. Hear me calling out to you. It's all that I can do. Baby, I am falling. Can't you hear me calling out to you? There's all that I can do. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Baby, I am falling. Baby, hear me calling. Baby, I am falling. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me.
So once we finally arrived in Perranporth, we had our transition 2 where we got changed into less clothes, which by that point we were both absolutely soaked anyway, so we knew that there wasn't point wearing much clothes on the run because they were just going to get soaked as well. So we headed down onto the beach. We both decided and opted for barefoot running on this just because we're running on the sand. It was wet. We didn't really want to get sand and seawater in our shoes, and actually I quite like running barefoot on the beach. So we did that. We took Lola with us as well, and it was actually pretty miserable, wasn't it, on the beach? It wasn't a beach day, so yeah.
But we also forgot that it's like a, I don't know, 5-minute descent along really sharp rocky cliffs to actually get to the beach. So that was a very slow start to what was a overall good run. I was just pleased that there was no more that could go wrong. You know, I was half expecting, I don't know, a tidal wave to hit me at that point or something, but it was just nice to be running along the beach. Lola came with. She was running rings around us the whole time. Couldn't really see much in front of us because it was so foggy. Enjoyable, I think. I mean,
It's our first real triathlon of the year,
yeah,
so that's
and
a tip.
I think it's probably one of the reasons why we don't race in the UK so much. 'Cause-
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah. But we did enjoy it.
We did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if our faces look like we did, but we did.
Yeah.
Did you see what she just did? Did you see what she did?
Then the run was just slow because it was on barefoot and sand. It was something like 4:45 per kilometre, and it was a total of 7k, I think it was. So
Yeah, I think Lola was like 2:30 per kilometre,
Yeah, she
and
was
she
bombing
did
along.
about 20k, so she showed us up on that bit.
I've actually still got a blister from running 7k barefoot. I didn't factor that in, that actually my feet aren't used to that, so that's good as well. We are here in the wonderful British summer at Perranporth Beach. So obviously, as you can see from that footage, you can't hear a word of what we were saying because the weather just kept on getting worse. It was super windy, so we decided that we would redo our outro here, nice and warm, back home, so you can actually hear what we're saying.
Yeah, so we did actually enjoy the epic triathlon in Cornwall. We had a really tough sea swim in the morning, a tough ride with a headwind all the way to Perranporth, and then finished it off with a great run on the beach, which was about 7 kilometres. And the weather just got worse and worse and worse as the day went on. So it was a tough challenge, even though we'd set it out as the Cornwall Epic Triathlon and didn't expect it to be as epic as it was, but the weather made it pretty epic. So yeah, a tough challenge, first triathlon of the year, ticked off, and we did enjoy it, I promise. Okay, so that was our Cornwall Epic Triathlon.